essentially we're getting together because we're two good-looking guys, bald as badgers, and when we team up together, we think we'll get a lot of people to come to the seminar, particularly ladies. So we're really looking forward to that challenge.
I've always dreamed of doing a property seminar tour with a property guru, but he wasn't available, so I'm going to do one with you, and I think it'll be okay.
Yeah. I only really wanted to do it because you wrote for The Australian, you gave that up, and now, you know...
Well, I'm attracted to the idea that in this case 1 + 1 equals more than 2. Hopefully it'll equal something like 4 or 5, particularly in a seminar format for individual property investors. Between the two of us we can provide them with a toolkit that they need.
My service, which I've been doing for quite a while, is to do about designing and getting involved in the best property solutions within those type of areas. So it's a very good dovetailing, a very good marriage between the two.
And I'm specifically set up to tell people the where, which I think is, for me, is the most important question of all, is where you should be investing. And I think a lot of investors make their biggest mistakes in buying in the wrong places. Yeah, I think the mining towns and the regional centres that have strong economies because of the mining sector, they're really the nerve centre of the Australian economy. That's where the real action is happening. That's where the real jobs are being created, and in particular, this is where the jobs with the high incomes are being created. So I think it's got that combination of I guess, younger people earning a lot of money, not too sure, probably have a vague idea that they should do something sensible with that money to set themselves up for life, want to invest.
And in the recent 4 or 5 years, there's been a lot of spruikers out there, selling their wares, and it's always been done on a hook and crook type of situation. I think what we're going to offer and how we partner together and work is that it's going to be on an education platform and to be on an advice platform. And I think that is missing, and I think will be well received.
I actually think that what's happening in these mining towns is really only just beginning. I think what we're seeing, looking at it from a global perspective, is significant global change in terms of where the important nations, where the important economies are now. We're now seeing India and China combined, bigger economies than all of Europe combined. And I think that's a process that's only just starting. And Australia's role in what I like to call the resources revolution is only really just starting, and it's going to continue for decades. And I think from one perspective we're getting in on the ground floor by going there, and I think we're going to go back there every year and talk to people who work out there and give them some advice that they can use in terms of how to put that wealth into investing into their future. I like to get out to these regional areas because there's a lot more optimism out there. I think our politicians and our media are very capital city centric, and there's very much a recession mentality in a lot of those places. But when you go out into regional Australia, you get this completely different vibe. Things are really happening, jobs are being created, industry is happening. There's lots of spin-offs from the resources sector filtering through those regional economies, and you just get a completely different can-do attitude out there, and I really like to get out amongst that.
It is a property-based seminar advisory series, so the core offering will be property, and in the essence of that, properties for purchase and especially investment-based properties. But importantly, around that will be the ancillary services, financial advice, wealth advice, and a lot of the which often is dismissed, needed things such as brokering, depreciation, insurance and the like. And so the invitation is quite wide, but it has to be a property focus, and we think that there is appetite for that, particularly given the strength of numbers that we've talked about before. Well, the event's open to anybody who wants to come. There is a small nominal fee, which of course is tax deductible. And what you can come and listen to what we're talking about. There's no harm in that. And we're going to outline a strategy to get you on your way. On average, an Australian investor only owns 1.25 properties, so just over one property. Most don't go beyond the first property, but they should. It isn't that hard. What you need is a strategy in place, and we're going to help deliver that. When we first started talking about this tour, we had a label called the 10-Point Plan Tour, because essentially we have 10 strategic points that we want to get across to the audience. I'm going to cover things like the general overview of the market, well researched, I've been doing it for quite a while, and with, I'm proud to say, quite a bit of success. So where the market's going, where I think the economy's going, some of the challenges ahead. But more importantly, I'll outline the 10 things that an investor needs to look for when they buy a property. And that's keyed around 3 strategic outcomes. One being maximum capital growth, second is best rental return, and third is maximising and importantly getting the most out of the tax advantages that are available.
My 10 creator categories, the circumstances and events which create real estate hotspots. I've spent a lot of years researching areas that have been hotspots and trying to determine what made them so, and I've distilled down the factors that create real estate outperformers to 10 key categories of events, which I call my creator categories. And I'm out there every day looking for locations that have many of these categories happening at the one time. For that reason, mining towns themselves tend not to be recommended because they have just one of those categories in play. They're one-trick ponies, but the many locations, particularly some of the regional centres around Australia, have 4, 5 or 6 of these creator categories happening at once. Those are the sorts of places I'm going to be telling people about.
I think there's a great truism in life, and it's from a Schultz comic from Peanuts. The biggest burden is a great potential, and many of the people living in and working the resources are earning lots of money, and they've got a great potential to do something with that income. And coming to a seminar like this may help to outline and have a strategy in which you can do more with your money for the longer term, invest it wisely, and actually have some form of strategy for the future. And I think essentially that's what we're trying to do. And for a couple of hours of your time, for a little bit of coin, you can find out what we've got to say and hopefully get on the right path.
Thank you.